Hello everyone, thank you so much for clicking on today's video and welcome to my channel. Today we have an interesting story that has sparked a lot of debate on Reddit. It's a post from a concerned parent who wonders if she's in the wrong for making a separate portion of stuffing for her son. Luckily, it does end on a positive note on the update, so stay tuned for that to find out. Before I move on to the story, I just wanted to take a second and thank all of my subscribers. Thank you so much, you guys are so wonderful. If you're new here and you like my content and you'd like to support me, I would really appreciate it if you could hit the subscribe button. Anyways, thank you so much for your time and on to the story. Am I the a-hole for making a separate portion of stuffing for my son? I, a 33-year-old female, am married to John, a 35-year-old male. Together we have a daughter who's a 3-year-old female and are currently expecting our second child together. We both also have children from previous relationships. I have Liam, who's an 8-year-old male from my previous marriage, and my husband has Ava, a 10-year-old female. I make Sunday lunch for my family every week. Last Friday, Liam asked if I could make stuffing without onions this week. Liam doesn't normally eat stuffing. He tried it a few times and decided that he wasn't a fan, and that was it. However, he tried it with his dad the weekend before. We have a 50-50 custody, so our weekends vary, and liked it. I agreed, and on Sunday I made a separate portion of stuffing without onions for my son. It's no big deal, after all, and I'm happy to make individual portions of anything if it means my children eat more. This is where the problem starts. As we sit at the dining table, John notices that Liam has stuffing on his plate. Liam tells him that I made him stuffing without onions because he likes it that way. Immediately, I notice Ava's mood sour, and when I ask her about it, she asks why I didn't make her stuffing without onions when she asked about it months ago. Now, I would understand where she was coming from if she had actually asked, but I had no clue what she was talking about. I said as much, and she tells me that she had brought it up with John, who said that he would talk to me. John never spoke to me about it and told Ava that it was too much work for me to take out the onions just for her. John said that he didn't tell me because he thought that it would be too hard on me and wanted to make things easier. He thought that I would only say no anyway. He even said that it didn't make sense to make a separate portion for just one person. He said that the kids should learn to either make do with the onions or not have stuffing at all, because not everything in life is going to go their way. I called him an idiot. I then went to the kitchen and I got the rest of the onionless stuffing for Ava to try. Later that evening, Ava went back to her mother's and told her what happened, which caused an argument between her and John, and they're not on good terms anyway. John has been angry with me since. He says that it's my fault that Ava and her mother is mad at him. He says that I should have left the damn thing alone and that I'm just spoiling my son by giving it to him like that. There's been some name calling and I'd rather not repeat what he said. Liam must have told Mike about what happened too, because he's told me that he thinks that John is overreacting. John's mother and older sister think that I'm an a-hole, but his brother has told me to just ignore it. My parents are also on my side because they used to make separate portions for me when I was a child if I didn't like a specific ingredient. My sister told me to post it on here to see if the majority think that I'm in the wrong or not. So I dread to ask, am I the a-hole for making a separate portion of stuffing to suit my son's taste? The overwhelming verdict was not the a-hole. One Redditor asked, has your husband been saying things to the children about food behind your back? Is this behavior something that he exhibited with his ex? To which OP replied, I hadn't thought about that. Liam hasn't mentioned anything, but I'll have to have a talk with him just in case. I'll also ask his father if he said anything about John. Thank you. And then OP also added, I definitely will address it. Since I'm in charge of pickup this week, I'll talk to Mike and Liam about John's behavior before heading home. I'll also talk to Ava and her mom when I pick her up. There has been a lot of helpful comments, and I've realized that I need to talk to John's ex to see if this is a behavior that he's exhibited when they were married. Another Redditor asked, "Is this anger a pattern of behavior for John?" To which OP replied, "He has always had a habit of name-calling when he's angry, but he never used to get angry all that often." And then went on to add, "John hasn't always been this bullheaded. He's kind and funny and he loves the kids. But I'll admit there's been a change in him over the last few months. He's normally very good to us, but he has been quicker to anger these past few months after I found out I was pregnant with our second child together. Hopefully it'll be better after our talk. Thank you again." Another Redditor asked, "Did you call him an idiot in front of the kids?" To which OP replied, "I'll admit, calling him an idiot wasn't my best moment. I didn't say it aggressively by any means, but looking back, it was wrong to do so. Definitely a slip of the tongue and not something that I practice often, especially in front of the kids. I was just blown away, honestly." OP was also deciding what else to do, and they said thank you. As bizarre as this argument has been, it has definitely been an eye-opener. I'm planning on showing him these comments tonight when our daughter is in bed. I also plan to have a long talk and air everything out before Liam and Ava come home tomorrow. Another Redditor asked, "Can you teach the kids to make their own food too?" To which OP replied, "That's another thing. Liam and Ava do sometimes help out when I'm making dinner on Sunday, if they're not otherwise engaged, because holding a child's attention can sometimes be a battle. They'll help me with peeling the potatoes or stirring the gravy, etc. John has always been hands-off on Sunday dinners." Hi everyone! Before I begin, I just wanted to thank everyone for the overwhelming number of comments and messages that I received in response to my original post. Because of the support and advice that many of you gave me, I wanted to come back and give all of you an update on how things have progressed since then. On Friday night, a few hours after I posted, I sat down with my husband after he put our 3-year-old to bed to talk about what had transpired and why he reacted the way he did. We spent 15 minutes reading through the comments and messages you guys left, and John was ashamed. He was also very hurt that his reaction, namely the name-calling, was perceived by the majority as bordering on abuse, and he was disgusted with himself. Now on to the onion debacle. I'm not going to quote everything that he said word to word, but it boils down to this. John's father was very strict when it came to meals. He ate what you were given, and that was that. If John or his siblings ever expressed their dislike for something on their plate, even if it was just one thing, the meal would be thrown out and they'd go to bed hungry. His dad drilled into him the same "not everything goes your way" mentality that John expressed last week. No one ever told John any differently while he was growing up. Even after his parents divorced, his mom followed the same rules. When his dad remarried, John's stepmom was just as bad. If John wanted something, it was an automatic no from her. John didn't tell me about Ava's request because he didn't want me to shut her down as coldly as he was. I guess it was 2 traumas with one stone. Then it comes to the anger. Again, I'm summarizing here, but John attributes it to stress. He feels overwhelmed with the kids and the pregnancy, and this work has been particularly busy over the last few months. He feels constantly frustrated and doesn't know how to bring that down. But then he asked a question that really blew my mind. He asked if I was having an affair with my ex-husband, Liam's father. Apparently his mom, a lovely lady, made a comment about how close we were and how it was unnatural, and it's been playing on his mind since. I'll admit that Mike, my ex-husband, and I are close. We're friends. We have a child together, but we don't love each other anymore. I told all of this to my husband and asked if I did something to make him not trust me on that. Well, after 4 years of marriage, I found out why John and his ex-wife hate each other. She had an affair. He didn't want to tell me because he was embarrassed and wanted to put it behind him. He also didn't want me to hate her and maybe have that ruin my relationship with Ava because it was his pain, his burden to carry. He's bitter because she never apologized and blamed him for the affair. He's apologized profusely for the pain that he's caused me and our children. I apologize for calling him an idiot. We both agreed no onions on Sunday. Despite this exhausting and enlightening conversation with John, I still sat down and spoke with Liam the next day when I went to pick him up from Mike's. Liam said that John has never said anything weird to him, nor has he gotten angry or yelled at him. He's never raised a hand. Mike said that Liam has never mentioned anything to him about John. He also said that Liam still brings up the time that John took him and Ava to the zoo when I was pregnant with our youngest. I also decided to go ahead and talk with John's ex-wife, Izzy. I asked her if John was ever hot-headed when they were together, and she said that he'd get angrier when stressed. Then I asked her about the affair because, while I wanted to believe my husband unconditionally, I needed to hear it from her side. She admitted to it. She said that she'd connected with a guy from her job. She said that she doesn't feel guilty about it because it feels like John was waiting for an excuse to leave, and that's exactly what he did. They argued and he left, and that was it. Neither of them fought for their marriage, and Izzy's bitterness is mostly due to the fact that during the process of divorcing, John ordered a DNA test on Ava because the affair made him question if he was really Ava's father. There was no onions on Sunday. John has agreed to not only couples counseling but also solo counseling. We're also considering family therapy, but before we commit to it, I want to get Mike and Izzy's opinion since they're the other parents of our respective children. John has also apologized to both Ava and Liam separately for the incident. He made the stuffing this weekend with Ava, no onions. It was nice. John even apologized to my parents for being no-show last week. It's been very stressful, but I love my husband. I believe that he can grow from this. I know him to be kind, funny, and just a good man overall. I hope from the bottom of my heart that things will be looking up at the time we welcome our son into this world. Thank you to everyone who has left comments and messages again. I genuinely believe that your advice may have helped save our marriage, or at the very least, given me the strength I needed to save myself. So guys, what did you think about this? Please let me know in the comments down below. In my opinion, the OP is not the a-hole in this situation. It's clear that she genuinely cares about her children's preferences and wants to accommodate them. Making a separate portion of stuffing without onions for her son seems like a reasonable and considerate gesture. The fact that her husband reacted with anger and name-calling is absolutely unacceptable and shows a lack of respect for his wife and their children. Furthermore, it is concerning that the husband's behavior may be part of a larger pattern, as indicated by the comments and OP's own reflection. It's important for parents to create a supportive and nurturing environment for their children, and that includes being open to their preferences and concerns. The husband's refusal to make a separate portion for his stepdaughter and his dismissive attitude towards her feelings are not conducive to a healthy family dynamic. I'm glad to see that OP is taking steps to address this issue in their relationship, such as having open conversations, seeking counseling, and considering therapy for the family. It's crucial to communicate and work through these challenges for the well-being of everyone involved. Overall, I personally think that it's important for parents to listen to their children and respect their individuality and strive to create a wonderful family environment where everyone's needs are considered. But that's just my opinion. I'd be really interested in hearing what you guys think about it. Please let me know in the comments down below. If you did like this story, I'd really appreciate it if you could give it a thumbs up. And please subscribe if you'd like to hear more stories from Reddit with updates.